Hey geometry students, welcome to lesson 79 today, where we're going to be talking about angles that are exterior to our circles. Earlier this year we did a very similar concept, except it was angles that were interior to our circles, and I'll connect what we did back then to what we'll see today in our lesson. I want to go over a few definitions so you understand the questions that we'll be setting up today. With regard to our circles, there's two different kind of lines that can intersect our circles. One of them is called a secant line. What did that mean that a line was secant to our circle? It meant that a line was intersecting our circle at two different locations. It went in the circle, then it also came back out of the circle as well. The second kind of line that we have in regard to our circles was called a tangent. So what did it mean that a line was tangent? That just meant it touched the circle once. The tangent line stayed completely on the outside of the circle. It just came by, grazed by the circle, and then kept going. Our secant and our tangent lines are the two different kind of lines that will be intersecting in our lesson, so we do have an angle that is on the outside of our circle. And so as I've been mentioning, what's it mean, the exterior of the circle? Well, exterior just means it's on the outside of the circle. So the angle that we're looking at is called an exterior angle. What is the qualification for an exterior angle? The vertex or the corner of that angle is on the outside of our circle. The main formula that we'll be following in our lesson today is based off of theorem 79-1. Again, unfortunately, it doesn't have a name to it. This is just lesson 79 and is the first theorem that we see in our lesson. Go ahead and copy this down into your notebook, and then I'll show you a picture that demonstrates what we're going to see in our formula. It says the measure of the angle, its vertex is on the outside of the circle. So how do I find the measure of this exterior angle? It is equal to half the difference of the intercepted arcs. That word intercepted just means the arcs that are on the inside of the angles, and I'll explain that as we're looking at our different examples here on our PowerPoint. Notice on this question it is the difference, which means it's a subtraction question. When we did the angles that were interior to our circles, we ended up adding the two arcs together and then dividing by 2. So there's going to be the key difference when it comes to these exterior angles. For the exterior angles, you're going to subtract, and then you're going to do the dividing by 2 for the half that you have in your question. Let me show you what that picture is going to look like. So if I gave you this picture, and I wanted you to find angle 1. Notice angle 1 is on the outside of the circle. And let me see if I can highlight something here for you guys. Okay. Notice angle 1. So if I were to trace angle 1, I have this angle right here. Well, what's inside of angle 1? I have this arc that goes from C to E, and I also have this arc over here that goes from B to D. Those are the two intercepted arcs that you have in your picture. Notice the order that I subtract does make a big difference. I always want to go with the arc that is furthest away from the angle because that will be the biggest arc, and then I'm going to subtract the one that is closer to the arc in the picture. If I was going to reverse those and then go the other direction, then I'm going to end up with a negative answer. And we do not want to have any negative angles in our question. Our angles always need to be a positive answer. Sometimes it is helpful as you're looking at these questions to trace the angle to make sure that you are correctly using the arcs that are on the inside of our angle. Okay, so let's work through a couple questions together. If I gave you this picture and I wanted you to find the measurement of angle A, notice angle A is an example of an exterior angle because its vertex is on the outside. If I was going to look at the picture and I was supposed to trace, what did angle A look like? Well, here's angle A, starts over here at C, then it heads down to A, and then finishes up over here at letter E. What two arcs are on the inside of that angle? The arc 56 and also the arc 18. I am given the two angles that are on, the two arcs that are on the inside of the angle, and those are the two arcs that I'm going to want to use. So to help me find the measurement of angle A, I'm going to take 1/2. Notice I put the 56 first because that is the angle that's the arc that is furthest away from the angle, minus the 18, the arc that is closer to the angle that we have in our problem. According to the order of operations, we know that we have to subtract first. So 56 minus 18 gave me a difference of 38. Then I'm going to do the half. Remember, half just means you're dividing by 2. So 38 divided by 2, it tells me the measurement of angle A is 19 in our problem. Let's just look at a couple more scenarios when it comes to these exterior angles. So go ahead and take a look at this picture. Now this one, roughly the same setup, but we're just going to go in the opposite direction. This time we're supposed to be looking for the measurement of one of the arcs. Our job is to find the measurement of this arc that's going from P down to N. I'm given the angle, and I have one of the arcs. My job is to find the other arc. Well, the formula that we had, it says the angle is equal to 1/2 of the difference of the arcs. So if I fill in that formula, the angle that I have is 20 equals 1/2. The angle that's the furthest from me, the arc that's the furthest away is 110, and then minus the arc that's closer, and that's the one that I'm going to be looking for in this question. Well, how do I go about finding the measurement of that arc that is on the inside of our parenthesis? There's a couple ways to do it. I'm going to show you what I think is going to be the easiest way for you guys to approach this question. The first thing I want to do is get rid of that 1/2 that I have right in front of our parenthesis. Now, something in front of a parenthesis does mean multiplication. So how do I cancel multiplication? I'm going to divide. Well, if I divide by a fraction, what technically is happening is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to take both sides of our equation and I'm going to multiply by 2. 20 times 2 gave me 40. Now on the left side of our equation, the 1/2 is gone because the times 2 would cancel that out, and I'm left with our 110 minus the measurement of our arc. The arc is on the outside of the parentheses now, and I can continue to solve. The next thing I want to do as I continue to solve for the arc is get rid of that 110. Well, in order to cancel that 110, I would have to subtract 110 on both sides of our equation. 40 minus -70, and notice in front of the measurement of the arc is that minus sign, so the measurement of the arc is still negative on the right side of our equation. Last step, to get the arc all by itself, I need to get rid of that negative, so I'm going to divide both sides by -1, and that tells me that the arc that I'm looking for is 70 degrees. Now, a quick way for me to check that. If you had the two arcs, would the angle be 20 degrees? Yeah, 110 minus 70 is 40, and then half of 40 is 20. So I know that my answer does make sense according to the work that we just went through. Let's go back to roughly the same idea from our first example, where our job is going to be to find the angle, and we are given the arcs in our picture. Let's go ahead and take a look at this picture. Our job again is to find the measurement of angle G. Notice angle G is on the outside of the picture, is formed by two tangents because those two lines stay completely on the outside of the circle. Well, if I look at angle G, what two arcs are on the inside of angle G? I do have that one that's given to me, the one that has the 292, and I'm also having this arc off to the side where I don't have any numbers labeled, that FH. Well, what do I need to do to find that measurement of the arc? Because I'm going to need that in order to help me find the angle. Well, I know that an entire circle is 360 degrees. So 360 minus 292 for the part that I've already used tells me that the measurement of the second arc is 68 degrees. Now, that's not the final answer that we have in our question. That was just the arc that's going to help me find the answer in our question. So let me go ahead and put that into my picture. There's the 68 that we just found. Again, notice our angle G, the two arcs that are inside angle G are the 292 and the 68. That's why I need to define the 68 first. In order to find angle G, because it's an exterior angle, I have to subtract. So it's 1/2 the bigger arc of 292 minus the smaller arc of 68. When I subtract those two numbers first, I have 1/2 of 224, and half of 224 tells me that the measurement of my angle is 112 degrees. So make sure that you look at the picture first. Do you actually have the arcs that are inside of the angle? If you don't, we need to find them first, and then we're going to fill in the formula. Let's look at that one more time on this last example that I have for us, because we're going to have to find the measurement of the arc first before we actually can find the measurement of the angle. Our job is to find the measurement of angle B. Well, angle B is an exterior angle because it's on the outside of the circle. The two lines that are making up that angle is a tangent we see at the top of the circle, and also a secant at the bottom because it's going through the circle. Well, in order to find the measurement of angle B, I'm going to have to use the two arcs that are on the inside of the angle. That one arc is given to us with a 74, but the second arc going from A to D, I don't know that measurement yet. So I'm going to have to find that first. Well, how am I going to find the measurement of arc AD? I know that an entire circle is 360 degrees, and I see that 2 of the pieces have already been labeled for me, so I'm going to subtract those 2 things out. You could go ahead and add the 166 and the 74 together first and then subtract. I just showed it as 2 different subtractions in our question. So 360 minus 166 minus the 74 tells me that the measurement of the arc going from A to D is 120 degrees. Again, that's not the final answer in our question. That's just a piece necessary to help me come up with our final answer. Let me go ahead and put that piece into our picture again. There's the 120 that we just came up with. Now we're able to find the measurement of angle B because we do have the 2 arcs that are on the interior of that angle. We're going to set up our formula. The measurement of angle B is 1/2 the big arc of 120 minus the smaller arc of 74. Subtract first again inside of our parenthesis. So I have 1/2 of 46 and half of 46 gives us 23 degrees. So the key in our lesson today to help us find an angle that's on the exterior, it's half of the difference of the 2 arcs. Just make sure, like we saw in the last 2 examples, that you do have the arcs that are on the inside of your angle. So if it helps you, trace them like I showed you in a couple of pictures to make sure that you do have them. If not, see what part of the circle is left out of the 360 degrees, then you can go ahead and correctly fill in your formula.